Often journalists are blamed for the content in the newspapers and on broadcast and stuff which is broadcast too, and actually they are just pawns in some ways in this game, which increasingly is happening in the mainstream media, where big corporations are simply bought and sold on the open market for their political influence, and that's happening increasingly. I think there's a less and less trust from the British public in the press, and really that decay in the accountability of our media began probably in the early 1980s under Thatcher.
If you don't agree with Fox News, right, you're out of the hive, right? So how can you not believe mainstream news, right? So the hive mind is always working. It's working in many programs all the time. So if you don't believe the war on terror, there's another program it's running, right? If you don't believe taking vaccines is good for your children, well, there's another person that's not a drone or a worker bee that needs to be brought into the collective. So there's all these programs that are working to bring you into this order out of chaos world, right? And the function of it is that you have no function. That's the function. The function is that you cease to operate as an individual, and you do as you're told, because that's what the hive dictates. What the queen bee does or wants, the queen bee gets. And the queen bee too can also be replaced, because it doesn't matter about the queen, it matters about the hive and how the hive functions.
What's happening in the mainstream is that idea that I represent you, John Stewart represents you, X represents you, is a Pied Piper concept. Does he really represent you? Do you want such a person to represent you? And if you do, then is he not completely now in control of your allegiances and your affiliations, you see? And they can steer them in a very much a Pied Piper way, wherever they want to go, sometimes this way, sometimes that way, like those cops you used to see at the corner or in the center of streets with the white armbands. This is the road they don't want you to go down, but this is the route they do want you to take. And so through this particular mechanism, and I do see it in shows very much like The Daily Show, and also in the more pernicious types like the Bill O'Reilly syndrome, but people need to become very observant of this. Glenn Beck, not that these people don't have important and brilliant things to say, and after all they're journalists, they collate and summate, and it's good to poke fun, and be the court jester, but you're still in the court. You're still serving the boss.